see, if you get an older text, the ship turns. Because we still have the Judeo-Christian model in our head. So therefore, everything is just like I was talking about at the beginning of the thing, based on the psychological aspect of the sister from Mississippi. Because she only was introduced to so anything spiritual about Christianity, that was the only thing that registered. Well, because that is in us, that's like a block or a cancer or something that you see what I'm saying? You see, a drug, basically. You see. And so, therefore, everything we do, even though we learn new stuff, it still filters in as the Judeo-Christian thought process. You see. Well, if you go back more ancient, and this is why the Judeo-Christian religion comes in and it rejects everything prior to its inception. And it rejects everything because if you go back, you will find out more of the truth. That the gods in the heaven are the God in the heaven. If you want to say it's gods or the God in the heaven, you'll find out in actuality is the enemy. And not only he's the enemy, he's not the God Almighty. He's only the God of creation. That's why you call him the Creator. You see.
Creation is a good thing, though.
No, creation ain't shit. Creation ain't nothing but a prison cell to trap the higher, most ancient spirits in. You must understand this over and over. You must develop a hatred for the world around you. This is what's going to save you. This means that you develop a hatred, you don't necessarily have to go kill yourself. Some person say, well, if we do all this, why don't we just kill ourselves? The mystery here is to let the alchemical component of the melanin inside of yourself line up on its own. When this particular stuff inside of you in your central nervous system lines up on its own, it brings on an alchemical death anyway and throws off this physical body. But the ultimate goal is to die. It's the ultimate goal. Some of y'all want to say right now, you know, I'm tired right now, shit. Lay around and shit. And the only reason why you ain't took the plunge is because you've been programmed that that's wrong. And you've been programmed that it's still on the other side. Right. But like I told you, you ain't seen none of your ancestors trying to beat back the door to get down to the back down to this shit. Some of them don't know your ass since they left you. Can't get in touch with them. Can't do nothing. They don't want to see your ass now. You see what I'm saying? Because ultimately we're not related to each other in the physical sense. You see what I'm saying? That's just some foolishness. And all. But one of the keys here is you must develop this particular hatred for the world around you. So that the one way you do that is to throw off the anesthesia. I just get sick of so many black people and all trying to find a niche in what they're going to do to try to bring some pleasure to this bullshit down here. Or what their little pathetic lives and what their career and what I'm going to do and this is me. It don't have shit to do with that. Develop a hatred and all. This is a form of the illumination of getting the latent forces in your body to go to another level is signaling to the mind that you're tired of this shit every day. And when you die, that's it. So that leads us to the other question. You have to have a love for death. You have to fall in love with death. Only till you develop a love for death that you really start to truly live. So that's why the ancient Hemmites had the funerary scenes all around them. When you fall in love with death, then you truly live. You know, they said once you lose it all, that's it. It's in the movie Fight Club. They say you ain't gonna do it. You won't be able to do this shit till you hit rock bottom. Final destination. So that's the concept. In the book of the law, it says you should long for death. You should love death. But once you ponder death, then the rest of this shit out here don't mean nothing no more. And also, one of the greatest problems ever is to understand death. That's one of the greatest problems ever. We don't understand death. Every day you wake up should be a bad fucking day. Fall in love with death. The book of the law says you should long for death and love for death. Now, what is this talking about here? Now, Alvin Boyd Kuhn wrote his book, Lost Light, and he made an observation that other Egyptologists couldn't do, and guess what? I guess that's why his shit ended up being banned and suppressed. And he says the fact stands, they talk about the Egyptians. I want to get this right. The Egyptians, the fact stands that they did call our life here death.
death in the books, they meant living humans. The word death and the dead are used in the old scriptures, refer to living humanity in earthly embodiment. Now that is some profound shit. We scurrying mortals are the dead. This is some nightmare shit. Right. You understand? We sitting up here. I'm not talking about dead in consciousness.
Right.
Truly we are dead in consciousness. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is all this shit we be seeing in these horror movies and in these sci-fi shit. You need to read them scriptures because they ain't got nothing on these scriptures. Right. Now they say that the Egyptians were the most illumined people ever to walk the face of the earth, the Africans. They call them a sage race, a teacher race. Okay? A teacher race. Now, the Egyptians said that we scurrying mortals are the dead of the Bible and other sacred books. And the dead spoken up there is the living existence here. So the brother literally took himself out, and I was glad he killed himself. See, you don't get into that because everything you see, because we are on the survival thing. Everything is based on live it, any cost. No, living ain't shit. That's that old Christian mentality. Oh, I'm just glad I woke up this morning. Well, a goddamn dog just woke up this morning. How you know there's God? He woke you up this morning. Hell, a fucking rat woke up this morning. That don't mean shit. But at what level? What capacity? You see what I'm saying? So based on the capacity, you understand what I'm saying? The right thing to do was to take yourself out for the simple fact that this ain't shit. And for the mere fact that he did that is letting you know that it's a doggone gesture, that this shit is over. He's only going where we going anyway. You understand what I'm saying? And you got to start thinking that particular mentality and stop valuing life as so precious. Fuck the dumb shit. You understand what I'm saying? You grasping for straws, Russian roulette, spin the fucking bottle. You understand what I'm saying? This is nothing. This is over with. And for the mere fact that life is tedious and repetitious, and you got to develop new ways to even enjoy yourself, new drugs to take yourself out of this, it means that the airplane is gone. End of story. You understand what I'm saying? And you should be looking at that every day. Every day you wake up, you go, well, it's another damn day. I got to invent something new. You understand? To drug myself out about this poisonous bullshit down here. You see what I'm saying? And it's even like that in the scriptures, in the Gospel of Thomas, the one that they took out of the Bible, said, if for those people seeking, may you find, and when you find, you should be distraught and disturbed when you find knowledge based on the world around you. But if you are disturbed, start rejoicing because the kingdom is at hand. You see what I'm saying? But it's saying that all this, when your eyes are open, you see the bullshit for what it is. And you shouldn't enjoy this particular stuff and say everything gonna be all right. These drug things. You see what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful day. What makes it a damn beautiful day? You understand what I'm saying? When your people can't even enjoy shit. But my point here is we can't go back. So the whole revolutionary movement to take us back to our own aspect of civilization is bullshit because we didn't start out in civilization. We started out from a divine realm, and this is what all the actual spirituality and all of the texts talk about. So for the mere fact that I want to know why Farrakhan is doing a Million Family March. For what? For what reason? I mean, what is the concept of these marches? Of not just Farrakhan, anybody. What is the concept? You see what I'm saying? But confusion. So any form of this particular transmutation is you cannot accept going back. You see. So therefore, anything that is remotely resembles common sense, logic, rationale, throw that motherfucker out the door. We have to tackle and go with extreme madness, because that's what we are. Extremely mad. And there is something in that. When you tap into that madness, you start to grow. And I'm like, wait a minute. Well, I'm not talking to our people. I'm talking to the people in this room. There's a difference. Our people don't want to hear shit. There is no black nation. There is no black unity. There is only a remnant. Like all ancient scriptures, the parts that was left in that was telling the truth says there will only be a remnant. You see what I'm saying? The upper room, a remnant
an aftermath. And that's the only thing that we are concerned about. We're not talking about the masses. That's one thing we have to get this at this particular time. It has nothing to do with the masses. It has nothing to do with the revolution and the evolution of the race. That's gone. This has to do with the evolution of the entire universe. In this particular case, the redoing of the entire universe, or the overhauling of the entire universe. And that is left to the people that this particular information is given to at this particular time. It's like one sister from Ethiopia say, what you are talking about is alien to our people, because when these people get up every morning, they have to think of survival. How am I going to eat? And it's not with us like, how I'm going to get to the supermarket. Am I going to get a ride to the supermarket? No, it's how am I going to get some food in whatever kind of ration is out there for me. So you're talking about a people that for you to even talk on the concept of advanced metaphysics is so alien to them, because their concept of survival is at such a level. The survival mode is so high until they don't have time to ponder the philosophical origins of that metaphysical construct. They are so busy. So the whole concept to them will be alien. You see, even if you go to the bush, or even if you would go to the person in the modern cities, the concept of survival is so alien. So we're only still talking about a select people. And we're not just talking about Africa. We're talking about here in America. And that's the reason why we can't reach the people, because we didn't understand that what the sister said in Africa holds true for right here in America. The concept of survival. Even if you're not even talking about the underclass, even if this thing permeates all the way to the upper echelon. Whereas a person with a master's degree can say, how is that going to put food on my table? So they never get out of the survival mode. Even if you got 10 Lexuses. You see, they never get out of survival mode. The whole concept, we're talking about people that never graduate beyond the survival mode. You see, that's why you got more white people that can grasp this, because they are the people that set the standard for survival, because they done taken over the planet. They got time to do other shit than survive. But these are psychological ramifications why we now see why our people, after 10 years of hearing all this profound knowledge, can't get it. Because we're stuck in a survival existence. We're talking about survival creatures. We're talking about a disease or a way of life that doesn't allow anything other than that. So any philosophical thing is like Chinese or Martian Braille. You see, it's the whole grasp of it. Or such a thing that's the fantasy world. And even in the Sufi mysteries, they say the entire aspect is the realm of imagination. The realm of imagination is real. It is the only reality there is. That's why this reality is only based on survival. And that's what the white boy says. It was even in the movie X-Files, the X-Files movie. The guy said, survival is the ultimate form of theology. Survival is the ultimate form of theology. And he has us on that survival mode. That is the only form of theology. You see. So, we're not talking about the mass of people. We're talking about a people that at least can get their mind free for the amount of hours we got up in this shit. You see what I'm saying? And that's the problem right there. We still, and to this day, the Afrocentric movement of 10 years ago based their premise on Up You Mighty Race, which was based on the premise of another movement 20 years prior to that, about 30 years now, your whole civil rights movement, a political movement to get enough people functioning in just this society. But this has nothing to do with that. But when you say through God all things are possible, that's when things get vague, get broad. You understand what I'm saying? Unapproachable. And although these are cliches that we use to get by in everyday life, these cliches diminish things because they diminish the human ability to tap into the universe, the omniverse, or whatever you call God, you are actually cut off from it. Just by giving all the power over to a deity outside of yourself. When the only bridge to the deity is through yourself. And if the deity is the one that has all the power, the omnipotent God, well, why the hell he fucking around with you and blaming you for stuff down here that's going to chastise you from stuff when he got all the power in the first place? You see what I'm saying? So my point here is we live in a society where we are codependent on the government and on some spook aspect of God where science or us not really knowing, not getting to the root of the matter, does not manifest. So in so many words, the reason why we never figure out the telephone is that way because we're trained not to. You see, we're trained not to. Or if we figure out that the telephone is that way, subconsciously we think that in actuality only the European can do that. You see what I'm saying? Only the European can do that. And then, if the ones that say, well, we know it's not the European, the first thing they say is God that's doing all of this. In so many words, it's still an unapproachable method where you're not responsible for tapping into your own energies. Now, don't get me wrong, the white boy has already figured this out. He figured out if it's going to get done, I'm going to do it. You see what I'm saying? He worships God better than us. You know what I mean by that? We always say, the white boy don't worship no God. No, the white boy figured it out. The white boy figured out that the only kind of energy you got to utilize in this universe is the energy that you put together and take advantage of. You understand what I'm saying? So he's not sitting around with the theology of worshiping God just by thanking God for everything and saying that's spiritual. He's doing God and being God by figuring that, by knowing that if it's going to get done, the universe has already given me the tools to do it, and I can manipulate it, I can do it. Problem is we take all of our energy and put it on something else outside of us. A matter of recognizing it, and but we can't recognize it through other deities as far as giving them the power. When their power is in the book of the law, it says, Hemmitt, which is the same black dot. He said, do not worship me, I am the worshiper. The others will be known in the physical realm, I never. So you're never going to see me as long as the physical realm exists. So therefore, become me, basically, in so many words. The only link you have is not an entity on the outside. It is, they say, the gods of men are fools. It is the inside. And that's what Newt ordained us. So that a millennium blackness is, in so many words, it's what I've been talking about all the time now, but it's also honing in to say, at this particular time, I don't think the major events that everybody's looking for, that the white boy God is looking for, because he'll always invent some new major events. Those major events are already here. You see what I'm saying? And we can't just be waiting for black people to rise, because that's another shit too, especially in New York. Black people on the rise. Black people ain't own shit. But getting their ass whipped and going to jail and whatever damn thing. We are on the rise. The conscious community and the ones that we talk about always think that this thing is growing because we are wrapped into a conscious community, but all you got to do is look at your goddamn family member and know that's some bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? Your close friends and know that them niggas ain't is dead as hell and know that we're only talking about us. So this is the only people we have to deal with right now. It has nothing to do with the outside, and now at this particular time it don't have nothing to do with time. It has something to do with churning up something and making a bomb now. And also too, it has something to do with it because in actuality I'm like him. Last month or so I'm like, look man, what's the damn point? What's the point in living? I mean, yeah, you can make plans and you can You can psych yourself out and look forward to some stuff, but you're only looking forward to all the stuff you done had before. But I'm saying ultimately, outside of this knowledge and stuff, what's the doggone point? So that itself, when it gets to that particular level, it is time. The time is actually now. I'll tell you how much the time is actually now. By no means that I want to go and, by no means that, last week I did a lecture in Harlem. And I knew that I was going to start back on the circuit in February, but I dreaded getting it. I said, with any luck, hopefully, I don't have to do this because this shit will all be over. You see what I'm saying? Will all be over. So the time that we're talking about is we're talking about now. We're not going to wait on black people to get no more consciousness because that ain't happening. Black people ain't going to do shit. You understand what I'm saying? And we even wonder why, we even have to question why we even have to even talk about the concept of race. Not talking about white people, don't get me wrong now. But the point I'm trying to make is when we talk about this concept of the race, that is a myth. All we have is us. You see what I'm saying? But it's comforting to know that in actuality, there wasn't nothing but a few of us in the beginning anyway. And all this other stuff is like the vampire thing was saying, you're just a doggone weak genetic strain. And maybe that's why they can't get it. Because it's got something to do with what, in order to get something, you got to have something. You see what I'm saying? You got to have something. You see, maybe that's why they can't get it.